Hello, I am Gina Botticello, and I am incredibly blessed to be a part of the Rescue Transfer Program here at Pasco County Animal Services. We are proud to work alongside our 501c3 animal rescue and welfare partners in their life-saving missions. Our Rescue Transfer Program is a network of humane organizations committed to serving as a safety net for our vulnerable shelter pets and upholding Pasco County Animal Services Save 90 mission. In collaboration with our rescue heroes, we have built an advanced and sustainable transfer program designed to ensuring positive outcomes for the insecure populations like sick, injured, geriatric, neonatal, and behavioral animals that may not have otherwise seen the outside of the shelter. This program did not happen overnight, nor by chance. Our program is the collective endeavor of an invested and passionate community, and as a result, Pasco has successfully sent 9,187 shelter pets to animal rescue agencies across the state of Florida since November of 2017. Now, a new challenge has emerged in our rescue community, a challenge I know we can overcome together. Currently, our home state of Florida has the 4th highest number of shelter deaths in the country. As animal welfare agencies work diligently to create change and impact in our communities across the state and improve these stark facts, an alarming trend of animals being transferred into the state of Florida have offset efforts to mitigate shelter and rescue overcrowding. Animal relocation can be an effective tool in a life-saving effort, but we must come together and collaborate to find the safest pathway for all pets in need. We will give all animals the greatest chance of survival by transporting them away from oversupply and redirecting them to lower populated regions. Together, we can answer the call for help from our southern state and Caribbean neighbors, but that does not mean further development of the destination state that has placed Florida in an importation crisis. Tonight, we will hear from industry experts and friends that have made this topic their chosen calling. We will examine our current practices with focus towards the road ahead. As we come together as the voice for the voiceless, we will continue to chase the vision of an end to needless suffering and loss. We know dedication, hard work, and perseverance gives positive results, so let's give this our all. Let us join together to move Florida out of this bleak reality that is unacceptable and into the promise of a brighter future for the animals within our own community. This ownership is ours. This is our life's work, our purpose, our chance to make a difference. This is our opportunity to leave our stamp on the history of animals in our state. It starts here, and just like the tiny program that we built years ago on Pasco soil, with the same passion, tenacity, and determination of the incredible heroes that have come together under one shared cause, the dream of a no-kill Florida is just within reach.
All right, welcome everybody. My name is Mike Shumate. I'm the Director of Pasco County Animal Services, and we're certainly happy to have you all here as our guests tonight. And as you saw, the meeting will have a kind of a central theme, and we've got some guest speakers. We want to welcome them as well, and also any of our regional municipal shelter partners. We want to recognize them and also just thank them for being here. So I did want to mention one thing that is going to be kind of high on my priority list for this next year. We have a lot of agenda type items that we look at every year. We start our fiscal year in October 1, and our county commissioners will be voting on our budget around September 20th, and so by October 1, we're ready to start on a new year with new money. So TNVR continues to be a big issue that we want to press forward, and we're partnering with more agencies to help us with that because it's a big need in our community. But another thing is pet reunification, and that's something that we have not done a great job on, and we really want to seek out some grants and some partnerships with folks this coming year to make sure that we can kind of stem the flow of lost pets in the county, and also being able to rehome them as quickly as possible back to their homes. not to someone else's home. So not that we're trying to put anybody out of business or anything. We just want to keep people with pets together and happy, okay? So with that said, we're going to move on with our first guest speaker, who's going to be via video, and that's Tiffany Deaton with Best Friends Animal Society.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tiffany Deaton, and I'm a senior strategist with Best Friends Animal Society. And essentially, I'm the Best Friends representative for the state of Florida. I apologize I couldn't be there in person this evening, but want to thank Pasco County for the invitation and to be a part of this discussion, and to everyone for coming and being ready to discuss how we can collaborate to maximize life-saving. For those who may not be aware or familiar with Best Friends Animal Society, we're a national nonprofit organization dedicated to helping communities and shelters across the country reach no-kill by 2025. We have taken the stance that we will not consider our goal reached until every single community and all of the shelters within have a save rate over 90% or are philosophically working as a no-kill organization. This means that we won't look at numbers on an aggregate or a lump sum when factoring in our progress to the goal. That being said, our whole purpose is to provide support to animal shelters and their communities to achieve this goal. This can be through training, coaching, in-person support, supplies, and oftentimes funding. Florida is very lucky because we are one of 2 states who have a single person dedicated to working and supporting the great things happening around the state. So how do we know where we're at with our goal? Data! Isn't this just what everyone wants to talk about at 6:30 on a Thursday night? Data, data, data. Well, let's start with a few quick definitions. I think it's important for us to kind of outline what we're really saying. No kill is a philosophical principle, meaning that all dogs and cats that can be saved at a shelter are, and these pets are treatable, rehabilitatable, and safe to be returned to the community. And the nationally accepted benchmark to measure the achievement of this goal is a 90% save rate. This means that we understand typically 10% of animals in a shelter are suffering from an irremediable condition or are not safe to release back to the community, so euthanasia is the most appropriate outcome. Save rate versus live release rate. Best Friends uses the metric of save rate to measure a community's progress towards the no-kill goal, and this number will be different than a live release rate. A save rate will count all animals coming into a shelter and all animals as outcomes at a shelter, which will include owner-requested euthanasia, or ORE, whereas a live release rate will remove all the numbers of an animals going in and out for ORE. An ORE is a complex issue. Typically, those cases would not comprise of more than 10% of animals entering a shelter, and another reason why no-kill does not mean 100% save rate. Definitions aside, where are we at? Best Friends released the national data set for 2021 this past summer, showing where we are at nationally, and using our pet life-saving dashboard, you can actually drill into your specific state and even your community. Florida has many great strides made, but we still have room to grow. In 2019, 2020, and now 2021, we have ranked number 4 in the country for number of animals losing their lives in our states as animal shelters. We have continued to increase our save rate, but the rest of the country is keeping up with that pace. So you'll see a photo of our life-saving dashboard in a few minutes, along with some incredible year-over-year data points, so I won't spend too much time duplicating information. But one fact that I cannot help but be so proud of is that the national percentage of already no-kill shelters is 52%. And in Florida alone, that number is 63%. That means that we have a higher percentage of no-kill shelters than the national average. But, and no one likes to hear but we are still number 4 for lives lost. So what does this mean for us? It's definitely not a bad thing. This means that we have the means within Florida to make our state no-kill, and we could do that in pretty short order if we all decided to band together and focus our work at home. I believe Lawrence is going to kick us off with some more numbers and to start diving into some opportunities, but I can't wait to talk with you more about what this means for us.
Hello. I don't usually use a mic. I talk very loud, but I promised Heath I would use a mic. Our next speaker is Lawrence Nicholas, who Lawrence is from the Jacksonville Humane Society, and he's also with Florida Leaders in Life Saving. So we're very excited that he made the trip all the way from Jacksonville to be with us tonight.
Awesome. Well, thanks, everybody. Thanks for having me here. Like Gina said, my name is Lawrence Nicholas. I'm the COO for the Jacksonville Humane Society. One of our initiatives is a program that we call Florida Leaders in Life Saving, and it really is but we've been able to make amazing strides in Jacksonville and in Duval County over the last 10, 15 years. And we wanted to be able to take and share some of our successes that we've had there locally and bring them across the entire state of Florida. We know just how important that work is, like you've already heard from a couple of different folks. We are number 4 in the country in terms of animals losing their lives. And we know that there are solutions right here in this room and across the entire state, but we need to come together. We need to work as one team, whether we are a municipal agency, a private shelter, a rescue group, a nonprofit spay-neuter clinic. It takes all of us working together. So we really wanted to step outside of Duval County and have impact beyond. So that's what brings me here tonight. And I want to talk through a little bit of the data that Tiffany mentioned just a minute ago via video. So this is that pet life-saving dashboard that she mentioned, and it is on bestfriends.org's website. And you can go, you can see the entire country on this site. You can drill it down to Florida and even county by county. So you can see the dark green counties there are ones that are already over that 90% save rate benchmark. Those that are light green are between, I think it's between 80 and 90%. And then yellow's got a little bit more work to do. And then the handful of gray counties are shelters that we're missing data for. So you can see there are a lot of great pockets of dark green. I see a lot very close to where we are here right now, and a lot up closer to where I live there in the northeast corner, but a lot of light green and a lot of yellow in between. So we know, like Tiffany mentioned, almost 2/3 of our shelters are no kill, and they are in those highly dense populated areas. But in the geography in between, there is a lot of animals losing their lives still today. So it is really important that we prioritize those shelters and those animals. But like she said, 84.4% save rate. That's an amazing accomplishment, and I'll show you year over year just how far we've come. So a handful of slides here on kind of the state of the state in a little bit more detail from 2018 through 2021. You can see the dog intake number has trended down pretty consistently. Cat intake as well. We usually don't put a lot of stock into the 2020 data just because it's such a tremendous outlier. I mean, whose life was normal in 2020 in this room? Nobody's. The shelter exactly the same. So we're generally tracking 2022 data back to more like 2019 and before in terms of comparing year over data. Statewide euthanasia numbers. We continue to see those numbers go down though. We're down under 15,000 animals, under 50,000 dogs losing their lives in the state in 2021. Did have a very slight blip up for cats, but again, that's much more of a representation of the fact that it's not 2020 anymore. In shelters, we're back to seeing a much more normal intake number. So there's those save rate numbers year over that we talked about. Seeing us go from not that terribly long ago, especially for cats, 2018 be 71%, and we're saving 13% more animals, or the save rate's 13% higher just a few years later. Dogs, very, very similar story. We continue to see improvement. 2020, outlier, over 90. Now we still have a little bit more work to go to keep getting over that 90% consistently. So just some very high level takeaways. I mean, how many of you have seen somewhere on your social media or felt personally in our living, we're in a shelter, the crisis, the shelter space crisis, right? Well, what we're finding when we really look at the data, it's not that more animals are coming in. It's actually, it's fewer animals are coming in than we look pre-pandemic. What's different is outcomes. Fewer animals are leaving our shelters than were before the pandemic. That's where the paradigm has shifted. It feels like there's more animals than ever before, but it's fewer than it was in the first place. But our outcomes have not caught up to our intake numbers that they were pre-pandemic. So that's really where the crunch is coming in when we look at it from 30,000 feet. Because really all of your positive outcomes are down from where they were in 2019, adoptions, RTOs, and transfers out. Overall, however, the most important statistic is still improving. Euthanasia is down 80% since 2013. We spend an awful lot of time talking about dogs. Dogs are big, dogs are loud, dogs get our attention, but still 2/3 of the animals that are losing their lives in shelters are cats. So it's still critically important when we're talking about moving the needle of no kill in Florida over 90. it is primarily a cat issue. So always keep that in mind, that those really, statistically, those are the animals that we need to be focusing on saving. And when you think about all of this kind of stuff at the big picture, some questions to just ask that we ask ourselves, that we've asked ourselves a lot in Duval County, and we talk to other shelters and groups across the state, is have we returned our own internal practices to what was successful in 2019? Because the rest of the world pretty much has. We're doing everything we were doing for the most part before the pandemic, so we need to start thinking about doing the same stuff in terms of our shelter. So if we're still very focused on adoptions only by appointment, and that was not what we were doing before 2019, you might want to be thinking about that again. I know lots of people are picking up those large-scale adoption events that were very successful before the pandemic. Just starting to think through what did work before the pandemic and what can we start doing again to try to get ourselves back into a better place. And this is one of the big rallying cries for us at Florida Leaders in Life Saving, and really, I think that the impetus for the conversation tonight is the import and export issue. When we first started really looking at these numbers, it didn't even feel like it could be true that we could be importing 7,000 dogs and only exporting 1,500 dogs, that there's a 5,500 animal gap there. It feels to me like we're filling vans and we're shipping animals all day and all night, but to know that there's probably 2 animals coming in a different van right behind that's demoralizing a little bit. It's a challenge to know that we're working so hard to save the animals' lives in Florida, and that there are other animals coming into the state of Florida from elsewhere right on their coattails. And competing for the same homes. So it's and honestly, before drilling deeply into this information, I didn't know that, and I certainly wouldn't have thought it was that drastic. So it is seeing those numbers and understanding that really reinforces for me and hopefully for others just how important it is that we focus on the animals that are in Florida first. That there are animals right here in the state of Florida that we should be focusing on saving. It's much more efficient in terms of an operation to know that you can drive a dog or a cat 3 hours instead of 13 hours, and just you could save more animals so much more efficiently by focusing on your partner shelters and those that are close by, who are also very, very much in need of that rescue support as well. So this is Jacksonville Humane Society over the last 10 years to some of our numbers, and pre-2010 or right there in 2010, we were transferring in a lot of animals from out of state. We were absolutely right there with many others transferring in a large portion of animals. And we thought it was because we needed to meet our adopter demand, that we felt that we needed to meet some perceived notion of this is what adopters are looking for. They're looking for something I don't already have in my shelter, so we brought them in. Stopped doing that pretty much cold turkey in 2012 and have never gone back. And you can see year over, our adoptions have only gone up. And it really does require a mind frame shift to remember the animals that are coming into my shelter live in this community already. These are the animals that my community cares about because they're already here. They already care about these animals. So trying to bring in a different animal to meet a demand that I may have created in my own mind or whatever, that's not life-saving. That's not a life-saving solution for Jacksonville, and I don't think it's a life-saving solution for most other communities either. So by making that shift, talking to our community differently about, look, these are the animals that need to be saved. If you want to save an animal, this is who needs it. We've been able to really see that work for us pretty consistently and reliably for 8 years now. And it's not a coincidence, it's not the only factor, but it's certainly not a coincidence that over that very same time frame, we've seen the euthanasia rate in our city just plummet. So the blue line, that's JHS. We've been no kill for 10 years, but the yellow line is the city shelter, because we changed our focus away from doing other things and supporting the city shelter first. And that is a dramatic difference, and one of the key pieces as to why Jacksonville and Duval County is considered to be a national no-kill leader. It's because we made the commitment, us and the city together, and others in the rescue community, and First Coast No More Homeless Pets, and everybody in Duval County to say, we need to save our animals first. We need to prioritize those guys that are right here in our own city, in our own community. And then in 2019, 2020, 21, if we're able to expand, maybe we'll take somebody from St. Johns County or Nassau County or a neighbor that's adjacent. We're not going to be taking in animals from Atlanta or from New Orleans or something like that, because there's still just so many animals here in Florida that need saving. And there are a number of examples that are doing similar work right here close to home. Dave's here. He's going to tell us a little bit about that in a minute, so I won't steal his thunder. But one thing that's great about the partnership with Florida Leaders and Best Friends, especially for this type of work, is so Friends of Strays. I'll talk about Friends of Strays since they're not here tonight. They were partnering very closely with a shelter in Georgia, and they were taking heartworm positive dogs. And their relationship with the group there in Georgia went back many, many years. And they wanted to support these dogs. And however, they weren't, the idea of shifting their focus and saving Florida animals first, that made sense to them. They wanted to do that, but they also didn't want to leave their partner behind in Georgia. They knew that those animals deserved and needed to be saved too. And we would agree with that. But is it the most efficient solution for them to go and come all the way to Tampa to be saved? Or can we work with somebody already in Georgia to save those animals instead? So they worked very closely with Best Friends and others in Georgia, find a partner to pair up that group with, and now they're saving other animals here in Florida instead. So we're saving twice as many animals, we're burning probably half as much gas, and we're just in general saving way more lives that way. So just challenge everyone to think a little bit differently. If we do have out-of-state partners, totally understand and why those relationships are important. But we might be able to work with you to help find somebody else locally in that other state, if it's Georgia, Louisiana, Alabama, or wherever, to help make sure that those animals still get saved too, but somewhere much closer to where they are, and we can shift our focus here to Florida. And that concludes my portion of the presentation.
Thank you very much for coming. Our next guest speaker is Dave Paloff, the Director of Operations from Humane Society of Pinellas.
Good evening, everyone. First, let me say how humbled I am to see all of you here. It means an awful lot. So, Dave Paloff, Director of Operations, Humane Society of Pinellas in Clearwater, right down the road. I'll give you all a little bit of background about the organization and about our transfer program before I dive into the decision-making behind moving away from importing animals into the state of Florida and concentrating here locally. So the Humane Society of Pinellas, we've been around for over 70 years, serving the Pinellas County and Tampa Bay community. That's a long time. Throughout the course of those 70 years, we've expanded, we've grown, we've contracted. Right now, most of you probably know we're undergoing a massive construction project, so we've reduced some of our programs and concentrated on the things that we do really, really well. So 14 active programs, including our transfer program, which we're going to talk a little bit about this evening. These programs, they've helped really tens of thousands of people and pets throughout the Pinellas County and Tampa Bay region. Around 2012, or at least based on my research that I can track back, tracing the data, HSP, we love acronyms, right, in the animal welfare world, so HSP stands for Humane Society of Pinellas, if you hear me say HSP, started out-of-state imports, and we started recording that data. Over the course of 10 years, from 2012 through the very, very beginning, I'm talking January of this year, we imported 2,233 animals into the state of Florida. Remember that number. It's an important number. So our transfer program today and what the future is going to look like for it, our methodology towards importing animals, or our transfer program in general, shifted in 2021. Why is that? Me, right? New leadership with different priorities. I started in my role in June of 2020, and I really took a deep dive, and you're going to hear data and numbers, and that word is it's a tough word, right? Nobody loves to hear the word data and numbers, but I'll tell you this, data and numbers paint the picture that tell our story, all right? I'll say it again. data paints the picture that tells our story, okay? And after I took a deep dive into our data, organizational-wise, and I looked at our policy and procedure and just spent months of doing that, dedicated. Before, I'm a history nerd, right? So I firmly believe you have to know where you've been to know where you're at in order to figure out where you're gonna go, right? So I spent months just digging into the history of the organization, the data, the policies and procedures. And then I took the knowledge that I gained over probably about a 3-month period, and I gathered all of our leadership team together, went over that, we reviewed it, and I asked the question, what are we and what do we want to be, right? And I shared some of that data that I discovered with our transfer program. Simple question, but not really, right? What are we and what do we want to be? So again, took a deep dive into the data as an organization. Then I started venturing into local data, Pinellas County and Tampa Bay data, so regionally and then statewide. And then I realized the state of Florida ranked 3rd in the country for euthanasia, and we're importing animals. 3rd at that time. We're now 4th. Now Lawrence will tell you, I'm surprised he didn't say, celebrate the small wins, right? That's a tough one to celebrate, moving from 3rd to 4th, but it is a win, right? So as we progressed and we got back to normal, our shelters, our municipal partners got back to or returning to pre-pandemic productivity levels where we're at now, right? Shelters are full, et cetera. We know the same old story. I'm not gonna beat that drum, right? We all know what that story is. And meanwhile, we're importing animals, right? So we made the decision in 2021, after months and going through the pandemic and things being slow and still importing animals into the state of Florida. And once we got back to those pre-pandemic levels and numbers, we decided as an organization then to be part of a greater solution to end the cycle of killing of adoptable pets within our state, within our own backyard. So what have we done? As of January, that was our last transfer. Now that's a big date, right? Between 2021 we decided to January of 2022, and I'll dive into that a little bit because I'm sure that you're all wondering why it takes so long. We ceased imports of animals into the state of Florida. How did we effectively do so, and why did it take so long? We didn't want to cut off our partner that we had a long-standing relationship with in like a light switch, right? Everything we do in our industry, in animal welfare, is partnership-based, right? We are only as good as our partners in the community, right? And that includes the ones that we have historical history with out of state. So partnerships to me is paramount on the success of our organization. So what we did, and what Lawrence hit on a little bit, was reach out to our national partners, Tiffany at Best Friends, and Keegan Spira through Maddie's, and said, hey, how do we end this and do it appropriately, maintain a proper partnership and communication with this organization because they depend on us, right? And get them the resources they need, right? Get them the resources they need because they have them locally, they just didn't realize it. And again, we're only as good as our relationship with our partners, right? So we didn't want to hit that light switch. We didn't want to blow that candle out. We didn't want to slam the door shut on them because they depended on us. That's why it took so long. So what's the future look like for HSP's transfer program? We desire to work with all who want to end the senseless killing of animals in our own state, right? That's what the future looks like. That's what our transfer program is going to be based on, moving forward as of today and into the future. That's the groundwork for our transfer program. The majority of our animal population comes through transfers and not owner surrenders. We run a dynamic, not quite dynamic, but fairly dynamic shelter diversion program. But that's a conversation for another time. And why? Why? Because our animals deserve a better outcome. And as professionals, and whether you think you're a professional or not, you're here tonight. So in my eyes and from my perspective, you're an animal welfare professional, right? We deserve a better reputation amongst our peers locally and nationally, and we can do it, right? We're well on the road to that reputation. And it's our hope, and it's my hope, that as leaders within animal welfare, we can be seen as a model and a success story. Remember, the data paints the picture that tells our story, and our story is far from being written. We control the narrative, right? We control the outcome. If we work together as leaders, we can be a model and we can be a success story as animal welfare professionals in the state of Florida that others can look at, like California and Texas, who hold the number 1 and 2 spot, right? So we have that ability. We control the narrative. That's all I got, folks.
So it's interesting that Dave had mentioned that we were third and we moved into fourth. I won't forget the day Spencer walked into my office and said, "I have great news." And I said, "What is that?" And he said, "We're fourth." And I didn't even understand what he was talking about. And he said, "We're now in fourth place of highest euthanasia in the country." And that was a couple months ago, and that's probably when it really hit home for me. Typically, these meetings are very Pasco-centric, or they're even regionally centric. And for the first time ever, I realized that I'm years into my career in animal welfare, and we are fourth highest in the nation for shelter pet deaths. And we have that ownership. And so this was a very lofty theme for us, but it's not, because everything we do here and bleeding outside of that really helps to change the statistic. So our next, he's not really a guest speaker. Our next agenda item is Spencer to talk about resources and education. It's very important to us that if anybody has established relationships with out-of-state partners, that they're not, like Dave said, shutting that door. We want to empower dialogue.
You're always taking pictures, and nobody ever takes pictures of you. I know. Gina said what I was going to say, so I'm done. No. Thanks, Gina. So Dave talked a little bit about data and how data is, like, for some people, is like a curse word, right? But Brene Brown, she's a famous leader, writes a lot of leadership books, and she has this famous quote that a story is just a data with soul, right? A story is just a data with a soul. And I think one thing, when you look at everybody that's here tonight, this tells our story, right? I was joking with Lawrence on the way over here. Jacksonville Humane Society, the beautiful representation of our state. He's saying he couldn't get 75 people together if he paid them, right? You all are the story, right? And so we're joking around, giving a shelter tour with his boss a couple months ago, Denise Deisler. She's CEO of Jacksonville Humane Society, and Chelsea Staley. She works for Petco Love Lost and Petco Love, which Mike will talk about in a little bit, right, Mike? And we're joking with them about, what is the goal of Petco Love? They've just cut this big fat check, and they want to do a bunch of good in the state of Florida, and what are we going to do, right? And we were joking about people driving past each other with dogs in the cars, right? A lot of people in this room busting your ass, like Lauren said, to get dogs into cars, and you're on 75 to take them up to, see our friend Adam Lamb up in Maryland, and you're driving by 3-4 cars bringing dogs in from Georgia and Alabama and Louisiana, right? And Denise asked us, and Gina and myself, and asked us, how do we fix this, right? How do we fix this problem? And on a state level, we immediately thought of all of you, right? You're doing the good work, right? We knew this group, like Gina mentioned in the video in the beginning, this small little meeting that we used to have in our conference room with 12 people at, right, is now statewide, like national, right? People know about this meeting. Mike Legg's here on his birthday filming it, right? He's here on his birthday filming the darn thing, right? And so the work you all are doing is impactful. So a couple of big things for me. I'm going to ask for a couple of favors when we talk about resources, right? We all utilize social media, right? I always think it's hilarious because we have great followings on social media. We put dogs on social media and we say, adopt this dog. Who are we talking to? People that are all of us, right? People that have already adopted from us, right? And so when we say these beautiful things about increasing life saving in the state of Florida and best practices, and we're talking to all of you, a lot of you are already doing that, right? And so how do we create communication? We got to find out who doesn't know this information and find out how they get their information, right? So I'm tasking all of you. This rescue community is a big one, right? You all have friends that aren't here tonight. You all have friends that are here tonight, that aren't here tonight, that are bringing animals in from out of the state, right? You can all think of a handful of them, right? This is not a crucifixion of those people. They're doing good things and they want to help animals, right? But what we've heard from Lawrence, what we've heard from Tiffany, what we've heard from Dave, what we've heard from Gina is there's a right way and a wrong way to do it, right? We saw Tiffany in the beginning, right? She's a senior strategist of the East Region in the state of Florida. That is way too long of a title. I don't know how she fits it on her business card, right? But there is a Tiffany for best friends in the state of Georgia, in the state of Alabama, in the state of Mississippi, in the state of Louisiana, in the state of South Carolina, in the state of North Carolina, right? And so the second thing I'm asking all you to do is if we get calls from Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, is to contact best friends, contact Tiffany, contact us. We can put you and subsequently those organizations that need the help, because once again, we're not going to say, nope, no more help. Florida's closed, right? We still want to help the animals, right? We still want to help the animals, but there's a way to do it. And so please get in contact with us. I apologize that I don't have a list here, but we have the list, right? If you are getting calls from Georgia, from Louisiana, from Alabama, from Mississippi, from South Carolina, from North Carolina, from Tennessee, from Kentucky, we get animals in the state from all of those. Texas. How many heartworm dogs are we going to transfer in from the state of Texas, right? We were joking a couple years ago. I know I'm rambling on, Gina. I'm sorry, But we were talking with Denise about, we had this big, beautiful story that we did at Pasco, right? And we helped 50 dogs from Hurricane Ida in Mississippi. They got misplaced by Hurricane Ida. And we transferred them in. And we had this beautiful moment where we helped those 50 dogs. And it took us a year to realize we transferred 50 dogs into the state of Florida during hurricane season. How dumb was that? I'm sure 3 months later, those organizations that took them had to ship them right back out, right? And so when we start to think about these things, there's a right way and a wrong way to do it, right? And we want to continue to help those animals. We want to continue to help those animals. So get in touch with us. Find your friends that are doing it. Let them know, hey, you're doing a good job because you're saving animals, right? But I went to this really cool meeting that Gina put on, and she said there's a really, really nice way to do it, and I'm going to help you do that. Then get in touch with us, and we're going to put you in touch with the right people, right? We all on board? Cool. Thanks, everyone. You want to put it back up here? Okay.
That we put on. We did this. This is everyone's efforts. This is everyone's work. The next thing I want to talk about is collaborative partnerships. So tonight we have a lot of rescuers in this room. We also have a lot of municipalities. We have a lot of animal shelters in this room. And it's very important that the two entities are working together. And if we're not working together, then we're not going to be successful in a life-saving mission. Sometimes I am talking to a rescue that has received communication of an outcry. We are over capacity, we are euthanizing, we are in some terrible crisis, and they will reach out to the municipality and not get a response. And that's shocking. And somebody who works in a county animal shelter, I can absolutely understand schedule conflicts, time management. There's so much to do and there's so little time. With that being said, we have to be communicating. We have to be working together. We need to empower each other. What do I need as a municipality? What do you need as a rescuer? And it's really important. I think so often municipalities are asking their rescues for help, but when do we ask our rescuers, what do you need? And so these two things, when combined, when the rescue is looking to serve the municipality and the municipality is looking to serve the rescue, that's where success happens. If you are a municipality in the room, we strongly urge you to stop and ask a question to your partners.
What do you need from us? I think municipalities that can do that and listen and provide service excellence will see an automatic increase in their transfer program. Sometimes rescues are going out of the state for a reason. They're not finding what they need, what serves their mission here locally. And so, just like Spencer said, this is not to criticize anyone from pulling out of state. It's to ask a question, why are you doing that? You could be driving past a county that has 600 animals in its care, driving for hours and wasting gas money when you could have had it right here in your own backyard. So it's creating dialogue to understand why this is happening and how we can solve the problem locally. Rescues must have what they need to survive. They are not funded. And so sometimes there are certain things they are looking for. And again, we're going to strengthen those relationships just by asking questions and listening and empowering each other. One very sad statistic about all of this is cats. We know that cats are usually falling way behind in any kind of life-saving statistic. And so as our rescuers in the room are looking at their rescue models and they're thinking about how they can develop and do more and save more lives, I will urge you to consider cats, because cats are amazing. Cats are way cooler than dogs, actually. So if you're looking at development, and even though you're a rescue, you're a business, you're an organization, and you certainly don't have to, but if you are ambitious to save more lives, look at your model, meet with your board. What is your objective? And I think Dave did a great job of saying that his agency had to pull back and say, what are we trying to do here? And we're all moving 1,000,000 miles an hour. I don't think we stop and ask ourselves that question often enough. So for our rescuers, what's our mission? What are we looking to accomplish? What can we consider to save more lives in our state? And for our municipalities, let's get our rescuers in and have some conversations to see how we can work together more to save more lives. Thanks. I probably forgot 10 things that I remember in the car, but at any rate, I'm doing great. Our next speaker is Cecilia Nieves. Did I say it right? And Cecilia is representing from Animal Lovers Dream Rescue. Cecilia has found tremendous success with somebody that was actually a sponsor of our meeting. Everyone's bags and all over the tables, you will find leashes, t-shirts, buttons, all kinds of fun things from Cuddly.com. Cuddly.com is not just somebody who gives out free t-shirts. They actually offer a tremendous service to animal shelters and rescues. So Cecilia's here to talk about that tonight.
I'm short. Hi, guys. So, I'm Cecilia Nieves. I am the founder and president of Animal Lovers Dream Rescue. Our mission is critically ill or injured. So usually if I'm on a chat with any of you guys and there's something that's like dying or broken, I'm the one that's like, oh my God. I also have that, what is it, a snail gift that makes me very sad. So actually go back. I don't know which way. How does this work? Oh, crap.
I mean, if anybody in this room knows me, I'm not the technology person, but you know what? I will. Here, Dave.
Previous.
Oh, we did it.
Oh. Okay, great. I'll just thumbs up. So Gina asked me if I could talk a little bit about the Cuddly platform because I have been using it a lot this year. And my biggest take back from it for you guys is we literally just started using this within the last couple months and it's made a huge difference. So I threw together a little PowerPoint presentation last night, so hopefully you guys like it. This is like a screenshot of their main.com. Pull it up. That's what it looks like. And this is what it looks like for people that have either found the page on social media, somebody told them about it, and it's very easy to navigate. So the important thing is not just for us, but for those that are getting on it to donate, to try to look for different rescues in the area, it's so easy for them to just be like, let me look up different rescues. Let me search a specific one. And I wanted to include in there, again, this is just their numbers for all the rescues and shelters that they help. So on there, the other biggest thing that I wanted to bring up is that they are intermingled with a lot of different platforms. So again, I don't know about you guys. We started off very small and we're growing, so it's always a learning opportunity. We're trying to get more into social media. We're trying to do more networking and this. Social media is a big thing. So I feel like we also just recently got a TikTok page. I didn't want anything to do with it. And finally I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. And now it's a lot of fun. But even if you didn't have these, which I recommend you do, if you get onto the Cuddly platform, have your dashboards on there, they share it on all of these. So even if you didn't have your own Instagram, you didn't have your own Twitter page, they do share on them. So again, it just kind of opens up the network that you have for other people. And then these two screenshots on this side is just kind of what it looks like on their main page for Instagram and Facebook. It's very user-friendly. So then I went on to the top, I guess for you guys, right, is the dashboard for when we log in. And again, I literally just started screenshotting stuff. So this is mine. Go in, it looks like this, and it just kind of shows. I think I've done 3 of those active ones in the last week. So we just started using Cuddly 4 or 5 months ago. If you look in the middle there, we've been able, with Cuddly's assistance, to fundraise $5,000 from people that I don't even know, which is amazing because this is a nationwide platform. So I can go on here, you connect your Stripe, you connect your PayPal, you connect your social media pages to it, and then if you look on the left, these are just some of the ones we have up there. So Elsa's a hot mess that's at my house right now. They're all hot messes, but these are just some of them. And honestly, I think to myself, I could post every single one of them. That takes time. It is a little time consuming. It's not very difficult. So I try to pick the ones that I know I'm definitely gonna need it, but are also gonna pull on their heartstrings. So if you want to, you can move on to the next one. Blade is actually from Pasco County Animal Services. I'm not sure how many people heard about his case. He had his muzzle macheted off because he got in the way when his owner was being attacked by someone with a machete. Stella saved him. He's also at my house and available now if anybody's interested. But Cuddly, on his main dashboard, that's what it looks like to the public. You can scroll through the pictures and you can see all the gory pictures if you like as well. So which is why we had to put up a thing like graphic images. But on there, he was our second Cuddly platform fundraiser. I had only put it at a limit of 2,000. He got so much outreach, he doubled that. So to say that, honestly, I've already looked at his numbers. We spent about $3,000 on him with a lot of his different stuff. So I'm glad we had the extra. But they also donated so many supplies, so many that he doesn't eat that much. So now I can share it with all my other fosters. We can share it with other rescues in the community. They have been a blessing. You can ask poor Manny back there. Sometimes we get home and we're like, there's Cuddly boxes all over our front porch today. We're like, yay. So that's just kind of the main thing. Threw that together, just wanted to share my testimony, my experience with it. I just started using it and it's honestly been a total blessing. So when she told me they were sponsoring this, I was like, I would love to say good things about them. So that's it, that's all I got. Yeah.
So real quick, I don't want to steal anybody's thunder. Thank you, Cecilia. That was amazing. We started partnering with Cuddly about 1.5 years ago, and they sponsor donations for our public pet food pantry, which has been tremendous in helping people keep their pets, which is awesome. If you've been inspired by Cecilia and you're going to sign up for Cuddly, if you say you were referred by Pasco as a municipal shelter, they will send us a $1,000 food donation. So if everybody in the room signs up and says you were referred by Pasco, Pasco gets, I think we had 78 people here last time, I got $78,000 worth of pet food. So if you're going to sign up, you should, because amazing, amazing. But they sponsor pet food pantries at municipal shelters, so say you were referred by Pasco. Thank you.
And I believe it's free, right? Yeah. So if there's any rescue in the room not using Cuddly, that's crazy because it's free. It's just free money, free supplies. So how great is that? I wanted to save a very large portion of time for open forum. A lot of tonight's focus was building relationships because we do have a lot of municipalities in the room. We have a lot of rescuers in the room. There's rescuers in the room doing great things that we all should know about so we can support each other in. But I think we might have had another video. No? So we're going to slide that in really quick. I haven't even seen it, so I'm excited too.
As we get going too, as I know we always do, we're going to leave plenty of room for it. There's always amazing questions. We had our advisory committee meeting last night at Pasco County Animal Services with our advisory committee. A lot of great folks on that board, a lot of great folks with the shelter. We initiated another beautiful conversation about TNVR. We talked about TNVR for a while last night, and it inspired the hope for a meeting coming up soon specifically about TNVR. And so if we have questions about trapping cats, we can ask them tonight, but just know we might limit it a little bit because there is an upcoming meeting that will be specifically dedicated to all of your questions and answers about TNVR. Cool? Cool. Off to you, boss.
Spencer's amazing. He's done a great job for us. He's also been on a national tour, seems like. He's gone to a lot of different conferences, basically exporting Pasco's culture a little bit, and what we've done at our shelter, which seems to be an amazing story to people outside of Pasco. So he's been doing that, and I've dubbed him the Prince of Presentation. So I think we can all agree he does a good job. But also I'd like to say thank you to the other presenters tonight, Lawrence, Dave, Cecilia, and Tiffany, Gina. So it's great. And just one more thing. You have these little cards. If you look at those, really nice. Just want to shout out to the Solid Rock Community School. Thank you for saving animals and what you do for all the animals. How nice. So, and you all got one, so treasure it, right? Because it's what you do. People love you for it. So this, real quick, Petco Love Lost. Have you ever heard of this? Okay. Have you ever heard of Finding Rover? Finding Rover, remember that? It was a downloadable app that you could put on your phone. It's free. You take pictures of your animals, put it up there with their profiles, and anytime they go lost, people can, this searches all the databases that all the shelters have, and it locates those animals, and it will put a bunch of animals up there that match your profile and where they're at in your local area. It's an amazing tool. Petco Love used to be Petco Foundation. We get grants from them. Maybe some of you have got grants from them. If you haven't, you should apply. They've got money, I'm telling you. So anyway, they bought out that app, and now it's Petco Love Lost. We're going to be using it a lot at our shelter. We're going to start throwing it in all the adopters' bags. Anytime we go out, our animal control officers are going to have stuff for people to access it because we want to rehome animals back home, okay, as much as we can this coming year. So just a quick video to show you a little bit about it.
1 in 3 pets will go missing in their lifetime. And sadly, many never make it home again. The unthinkable can happen to any of us. But sometimes, a miracle does happen. At Petco Love, we believe nothing is more important than keeping people and pets together for a lifetime of love. That's why we're launching the Petco Love Lost National Database. This will be the free and easy-to-use go-to resource using pet facial recognition technology to help reunite lost pets with their families, making scenes like this an everyday thing. Let's unite to reunite. Petco Love Lost.
If you ever lose a pet, I would go to Petco Love Lost first. You drop the picture in, it matches them up. So much simpler than calling around and trying to describe your dog and posting pictures everywhere. My partner had called me and said that Bella got out. When I contacted Lifeline, they told me to go to the Love Lost site to see if I could locate her there. It was really easy to find her. It had like a number assigned to her where we could actually call and say, okay, hey, this is our dog. You know, we're coming to get her. Because you can't check every shelter, it's a centralized place or location for you to do this and see exactly where they are. I was going to go get her by myself, but as soon as I called my mom and told her I found her, my mom had to go, my nephew had to go, my son had to go. Everyone was just totally excited to go get Bella back. The relief on their face when they brought Bella out to us, absolutely priceless. And we all knew we couldn't keep her permanently. She is now with a family with small kids and another dog to play with and They absolutely love her. She's been like a fantastic addition to their family. I would definitely recommend anyone use Petco Love Lost. I'm really impressed with just the whole process. So it's just absolutely awesome.
So another tool for our rescues and our shelters. If you're utilizing a foster program, what a great idea to make sure every animal, you get that picture up there just in case something goes wrong. So another, like I said, another tool. We're going to go ahead and move to open forum. We have some friends joining us tonight that have never been to a Rescue Partners meeting before. This is a time of the evening where we can ask a question, in form of an event, in form of a need, voice a concern, because this is a working group. This isn't just Pasco's meeting. This is all of us getting together to figure out how we can help the animals in our region the best that we possibly can. Everyone is amazing with the feedback, and we always leave this meeting stronger in developing new programs, new concepts. I think in this meeting was born an emotional support group, an adopt-a-thon, TNVR, literally. I can't even say, and all those things have come out of open forum. So it's a great opportunity. For our municipalities in the room, please think if there's any questions you would like to ask our rescuers tonight. If there's anything that you would like to invite them to take part in, this is all of our time. So we already do have two people that want to make some announcements. So I'm going to come around. Do we feel like we need a mic or? Yeah, okay. All right, I'm coming around. Cecilia, I'm coming to you. So everybody has a little sheet on their agenda. There it is. And so Cecilia, again, will tell us about that.
Thank you. You're welcome. Hey, it's me again. So Gina was amazing and printed out these cute little flyers for us. I feel bad having my back to everybody. So again, we started off as a little rescue, and I always tell people that I'm still a little rescue, but then people remind me that we're not that little anymore. So it's, good things. But we are actually hosting our very first community, actual event in September. I have a little piece of property off of Livingston Avenue that I've been doing yard sales and doing free food drives out to the local community. And I reached out to Hillsborough and Pasco and friends of Hillsborough, Pasco, and anybody else who would want to come out and help. We have 100 rabies vaccines sponsored, 100 microchips sponsored, and a whole bunch of food that we're going to give out free to the community. It's my biggest goal for it is just community outreach. I would love to have different, for this one, it's my first one, so I would like to mainly have the county big resources out there. A place where the people not just come for their free vaccines, but if they have questions like where can we get vouchers, where can we, if I lost my dog, where would I go? The property is Hillsborough, but it's so close to Pasco that I told Gina, I was like, I would love Pasco to be there because it's literally it's Lutz, but it's Hillsborough, so we're a hop skip away. I want it mainly to be community outreach, and if this picks up, I'd like to do it more often. So 100 vaccines, 100 microchips. I expect it to go super quick because I've helped out at a couple other ones where 500 went in a couple hours. So I expect those to go, but the biggest thing is bringing the community in and letting them know what resources we have that we can help them with. And then asking them, what can we do to help you? What can we do to help you keep your pets so that they don't come into the shelter, so that they don't need us as much? Because like everybody else, we're full. And it's a full-time volunteer job on top of everything else. So thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want us to advertise this? If you can, would be wonderful. Yeah.
So someone just asked if we need advertisement. Absolutely. We spread the word, definitely.
I can send it digitally to anybody who wants as well.
Also, a great point is as our community grows and grows and grows in population, it is unsustainable for us as shelters and rescuers to take in all these pets. There has to be a culture shift in our communities, and it should be best effort put forth to keep pets at home. I think sometimes we feel maybe that animal shouldn't be at home. Maybe
that pet owner shouldn't have that pet, or maybe it's best it doesn't go home. But the sad truth is there's 10 pets behind that one that really don't have families. So if this one does, we really need to try hard, our best effort to get that pet back home to save rescue resources. We have House Rabbit, and then we'll get to Raining Cats and Dogs. Yeah, I think this is House Rabbit Rescue, and you have an event?
Yes, Suncoast House Rabbit Rescue. We have scheduled our inaugural. It's going to be a Bun Fest. It'll be March 4th. It's for a morning of everything rabbits. It'll be rabbits and guinea pigs. We always say rabbits, but guinea pigs come along. There'll be classes, education classes. It'll be on holiday. There'll be more things on our webpage, and we'll find different groups to spread the advertisement.
Thank you very much. I know we all know that rabbits are getting to be a hot topic. I know there's rabbits. Somebody in this room, I think, just caught a bunch of rabbits that someone didn't feel like having as pets anymore and just released. And so, yeah, that's right. It was you.
No.
Oh.
I'm asking who is it?
Oh.
Do you need support?
I think that constantly rescuers are catching rabbits that are set loose. So education is key. If we can help that group with that effort.
They're dumping guinea pigs now.
Aww.
Yeah, they're dumping. There were 2 big groups in South Florida. We just had someone that took in 5 and they became 9 overnight. Speaking of,
That's how it happens.
This is Laura with Raining Cats and Dogs Animal Shelter.
Hi. The biggest issue we're finding right now are renters. Does anyone have any advice to help people who cannot pay pet fees or have to give up their animals? That's huge right now. Huge. And with the housing prices right now, people are priced out of pet-friendly apartments. Any ideas?
Spencer, Mike, Haas. Has anybody heard of Haas, which is Human Animal Support Services?
There's a site. We were just chatting about it because we were just talking to Heather Kalman about that, who's with Haas. There is a site specifically dedicated to providing funding for that. We're going to email it to you because we have it written down back at the shelter. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there is a site dedicated. It's a national site, but it's dedicated to helping folks like that. Yep.
They have funding.
It helps with funding, but it also helps with finding pet-friendly housing that doesn't require pet fees or things like that.
I visited Hillsborough County recently and was so impressed with their Haas program. I think, will you even pay someone's pet deposit for a new apartment or for our Hillsborough people in the room? Was that right?
We'll do everything we can, and we're getting a little creative right now. We don't have a perfect program. I wish we had a formal where we could just pay it tomorrow.
Yeah.
But if anybody's having problems, absolutely in Hillsborough, reach out to our pet support team, and we'll figure it out one way or another.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Who's next? Oh, Ellen.
What organization?
Hillsborough County Pet Resource Center.
Where do we find information regarding seniors? What programs are available specifically for the seniors? Like
Senior pets or senior people?
Both.
Both? Okay.
And how to connect them and what can be done for them.
So we're very blessed in Pasco County. A lot of times when you guys look at municipal animal services, they're going to be under the sheriff's office, or they're going to be under code enforcement or fire rescue or emergency management. We're very blessed in Pasco County. Animal services actually falls under public services. I don't know if everybody knows that in the room. So we're in the same branch of government as like Parks and Rec and libraries and like transportation. And one of those departments is senior services. We have a great relationship with that team over there. Davia and Josephine. So we have, there's not something we've asked them in the past, like here's this giant packet of information, but they are literally sitting by the phones waiting for people to call them. And you know, there's lists for Meals on Wheels, but there's all kinds of great programs for seniors. And their director of community services, Brian Hoban, is always encouraging. If you have an individual citizen, if you have somebody that's saying, hey, you know, they're struggling with their pet, but they are a senior, they have to contact senior services with the county because there's so many programs out there that can help them. Absolutely.
Has anyone heard of Cindy's Pets? Is it Cindy's Pets? And Cindy's Pets is very similar to Meals on Wheels, but Meals on Wheels, I believe, is restricted to human need. And so Cindy's Pets will deliver pet food. And so... Okay, so Cindy from Possum Village is saying you do have to be signed up for Meals on Wheels, but I would imagine that those two things would go hand in hand, so. Also, we have some rescuers in the room, and Cindy, I know you used to be one of them, that offer food banks. So Ellen, if you know of a family of a senior in the county or even outside of the county, knowing that this is progressive sheltering, is to support human-animal bonds, there's food banks now. And so, you know, a lot of local rescues are operating these food banks, and we can help. It's just connecting. It's connecting to each other to see what program is the most appropriate.
That information is all helpful, but one of the things that we were talking with Sue about was how to connect senior pets with senior people. Isn't there something at the shelter?
One of the biggest needs at our shelter, and I'm sure it's a very common theme, is senior animals. It's tough. It's tough to find help for senior animals. We have a couple fantastic sanctuaries, but being that those animals are never leaving, it's not a high volume transfer situation. And so that would be wonderful if there was a program Seniors for Seniors. And again, it's just that development. It's somebody to propose it and work that vision to make it happen. We have a promotion, which is a reduction in an adoption fee. It does. It helps. It helps. Oh.
I'm not standing up. I'm Crystal with Best at Senior Cat Home, and piggybacking off of what you said, if I have actually thought about doing Seniors for Seniors, I just have no idea how to start. So if anybody in this room can point me in the right direction to get that started, yes, I do.
There is a national company that works with, it's a national organization, and they partner with local rescues and shelters. I can't remember the name, but
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, so it is in my head, but I'm not that far yet. But any help, I'll take it.
Thank you. And that's Anna from the New Barker there. So she has way more connections than I do. And also, just quick before I forget, she did leave some magazines to the back. Hi, Kathy.
I talk loud enough. You don't
Okay.
need it. I don't need it. I know a lot of the local food banks at churches and different places are doing cat and dog food distributions. If you have extra dog food and cat food, people that, like you're saying, the renters and the people that are getting thrown out need this food badly. I know there's one in Dade City that's doing it, and there's one in Land O'Lakes that's doing it. So all over the county, I'm sure they have them that would be willing to do it. Okay, you're talking about communicating and getting the sources out there.
If you need pet food too, now we've learned that Cuddly.com, which has assisted us in our food bank, you just put it up there and they're gonna put that ask nationwide. So Cuddly.com is a great way. Also, a lot of the items that are donated for these meetings are simply from calling pet stores and saying, hey, do you have any donations? These pet stores and other businesses have things that they can no longer sell because they're getting very close to expiration date, or maybe they've been just very slightly damaged. So if you are a rescuer and you're looking to save resources in your own agency, or if you're looking to help the community, there's tons of free ways that you can do that. It won't cost you a dime. So Sue from Humana Pasco is saying that she gets things from Tractor Supply, so you can make a phone call to whoever's in your neighborhood, and that's great.
And they ask you, like with Tractor
Here.
Supply, they have so many different animals that they do, and they ask you, what do you want for what animal? So, like I get all the cat and dog stuff, and they'll do litter too, and it really, really helps. So just go to your local, ask them for the near expire or open bag, and they'll put stuff aside for you.
Tell them about our adopt-a-thon.
Yes, we do have another adopt-a-thon coming up, October 1st. It's going to be at the Humane Society of Pasco County. So all we can do is hope our building's gonna get started soon. That's what we're hoping for. But I hope to see everybody there. And I was thinking about trying to get somebody for.
Yeah. So if anybody has participated in previous adopt-a-thons, it's we usually do a lot of adoptions, but even more, it's really fun for us to come together and do something fun. We have food, we have music, we had a bounce house last time, and so it's fun for us to do together as a team. I will send a sign up out for how many rescues do you think we can fit comfortably? Well, we'll have to think about that. We're always. Yeah. It will be an outdoor event, I will say that. So if anybody is interested in signing up early, please see myself or Sue at the end of this meeting, but we're excited about that.
Gina, I actually got two things. I got a question from somebody up here, and then I have something for open forum too. So the question was, are vet bills out of control? And are you guys seeing big delays at vets? Yeah, right? The answer is yes, right? A couple of different things to that. Mike and I, we attend the Best Friends Conference, and we attend Expo Conference with HSUS, and we're looking at best practices across the country. And at Best Friends this year, they had a big sticker board, and they had like a bunch of little finger stickers, and you can put it up, and it said, put the sticker where the biggest need in your community is, right? And there were categories like large dogs and like community cats, and there was a category on lack of veterinary care. And damned if 80% of the stickers weren't in the thing that said lack of veterinary care. And there were so many tracks at those conferences talking about lack of good veterinarians in the community. And so it's not something that I have an answer for right now. Absolutely not. We have been looking at this. We've tried a ton of different stuff. We have some stuff in the pipeline that, as we work with the shelter, but a couple of different options. I'm sure the vast majority of people in the room know this, but we do have our public vaccination clinic open to the public that you are all more than welcome to participate in every Tuesday and Thursday morning. Please make an appointment ahead of time. But you're more than welcome to participate in that. And then there are low-cost, affordable veterinary clinics in the community that do great, great work for us. We are not immune here in Pasco County to the epidemic of lack of veterinary care. We are very blessed at our shelter. We have two beautiful, wonderful veterinarians, and if they ever decide to leave, I'll be going with them. But we know we are very blessed in that sense, and so we are working on it. We do not have an answer to that right now, but we are absolutely working on it. As we go into the TNR conversation, when you look at root cause analysis of all of that, we have the money, we have the people, we have the funding, we don't have the vets to do the surgery, right? And so we're looking at that. My thing for open forum is I absolutely love to death all and every single one of you, and I want you at the shelter every single day. With that being said, next week, hopefully you get the press release, we are transferring over from our PetPoint system to a new animal management software. So if anybody in their day job has ever switched over softwares, it is a pain in the butt, y'all. And so unfortunately, because of that, we're going to have to close for a couple days. We will be closed to the public next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, right? We can't exactly switch everything over if we're doing business as usual, right? And so we'll be closed to the public Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. We are closed to everybody. That includes you, Heath, all right? We will be closed. We will have an officer on call for emergency calls like we do normally for our after-hours stuff. And then our customer service staff will still be answering the phones, but unfortunately, we won't be able to do business like normal. Thursday morning, 8 a.m., that vaccine clinic's going to kick off. We're going to have a brand new software and we'll be up and running. So thank you all for your understanding with that. If you have any questions on that, we'd be happy to answer it too. So thank you.
Does anybody have any other things?
Yeah, I had a question.
Oh, here.
Hi, good night. My name is Jeanette Campos. I'm the practice manager at Perry Resource Center, Hillsborough County. And to piggyback on you, Spencer, we have 4 positions for vets. I have 1 doctor right now. So we have been looking for almost a year. We offered a position a couple of weeks ago, and she just emailed me next morning. I got another offer, and then ghosted me. Like, I don't even know. She didn't like us. She kind of, whoa, this place is disgusting. And what is going on? I want to know. She just went somewhere else. With that being said, guys, please be nice to your veterinarian. It's a very hard profession. It's the highest suicidal rate in every medical profession in the country. I'm not even inventing this. It's real. No More One Bet is a movement in social media. So guys, is that we don't want to do things. It's just we can't. We are physically exhausted and tired. We love you guys. We really appreciate what you guys all do, but we are just to the limit. So promise, we are looking. We are talking to the universities, to schools, to new grads, everywhere. We're looking under the rocks. Like I'm thinking and bringing my colleagues from Costa Rica, and I'm trying to, I'm not even kidding, I'm trying to work that with the county to promote work visas, because coming over here to work in that kind of jobs is not easy. You have to pass the boards. Cecilia knows about this. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of money, but we're working on it. So just be kind with your bet. We're trying. We are with you, and we appreciate you guys.
What is your current shelter population?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Kira, help me with that.
Right this moment, we're increasing just under 600.
So just under 600 animals at Hillsborough PRC. And for me, it's very easy to see when you speak. I can hear you're exhausted. I know that you're tired. I know our rescue friends very, very well, and they're exhausted and they're tired. And so when you get exhausted and tired, and no one can speak better upon this than myself, I am in an emotional support group, thank you very much. It's important to support each other. I have nothing except these friends, and they are friends helping me through every day, coaching me through, saving our pets, and we love them together. And I'm so grateful. We have Marion County in this room, Pinellas County, Hernando, Hillsborough, Citrus. We're all here together. I'm sorry? Pasco is here. We're all here together. We're all doing this together, and it's not just about any one entity. We all love animals, and we're doing what we can, and we're being understanding, and we're supporting each other. We're not judging. We're asking questions. We're listening, and this is how, in our region, we just get so strong, and I'm so proud to be a part of it. And I look out at this room, and I see everyone's face, and everyone has a talent. Everybody is so exceptional at something that they're doing. And when we're working together and connecting those talents, which is something that we do, we talk to our private shelters in Pasco County every day of our lives. We are working together. And so I think about what Pasco County Animal Services does independently. I don't even think that way anymore. I think about what 4 of us do, and so it shows so much growth. And I will tell you, I probably would have resigned a year ago without that support system. So it's super important. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing, and we're here to support you.
We got about time for one more comment, 'cause we know we all love the mingling. We do have to be 2 quick housekeeping items. We do have to be out of here by 8 o'clock. The library closes up. They will lock the doors. They'll lock you in. It'll be like a Goosebumps book. You don't want to be in the library at night. And then 2, all of this stuff on the tables lives in Gina's office in anticipation of this meeting, and she doesn't want it back in her office. And so take everything, okay? Please, please, please. You have giant Kong reusable bags that I believe Cecilia brought us, right? Love to the Rescue. I'm so sorry. Love to the Rescue brought us. So use the big Kong bags. You can take the food. But we have time for one more comment, right? One more comment.
All right. I have a question, kind of an elephant in the room, non-judgmental. Yeah. But there are a couple of groups or entities that are importing the animals. Are we talking to them? Are you asking questions of them? Why are they doing it? How can we help them?
So when we wanted to talk about this, when we agreed to talk about this with Denise Deisler and Tiffany Deaton, immediately I was concerned, because I love our rescue partners. They're our friends. And I was so worried that someone would feel ashamed for saving an animal from Georgia or from Puerto Rico. I didn't want anyone to feel a sense of shame, but I did want them to recognize our current situation with Polk County having 600 to 800 animals, Hillsborough County, what's going on in our state, what's going on in our region. We're not questioning our rescues. We are encouraging our rescues to pull locally, but we don't feel at this time that we're questioning anyone or shaming anyone for doing beautiful life-saving work. This is awareness.
Are you asking them why they're doing it, or is there a way that we can help?
I think, so Anna from the New Barker is saying, are we asking rescues that we know to be pulling out of state why they're doing that? And that's just going back to what I said about asking questions and really listening to the responses. Many times these rescues are going out of state for puppies, for purebreds, and they say they cannot get them locally. And if they're pulling a medical case that costs them $6,000, it's essential for them, as they don't have any kind of funding except for donations and adoption fees, to have these animals to offset those costs and to sustain. So again, it's all about asking questions. And we hope just with increased awareness, we see an organic reduction. But we certainly know that every rescue transfer, wherever it's from, there's love behind it. But okay, so there should be nothing left that I have to put in a box because I'm tired. We're all tired. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you.